I'm storyteller and author Pleasant Despain, and you have a wonderful imagination. Welcome to Pleasant Journeys. My story for today is from Japan, and it's called The Boy Who Drew Cats. It's from my Books of Nine Lives series, Volume 9, Tales of Cats. Long, long ago, a boy was born into a large family of rice farmers. But unfortunately, he didn't grow tall and strong like his brothers and sisters. He was rather sickly and remained small. And finally, one day, his father said, "I don't think he'll make a good farmer." His mother agreed. She said, "Perhaps he'll make a better monk than he will a farmer." So they took him to the local temple. And there the boy lived. He had many chores. He had to sweep the stone walkways daily. He had to help wash the robes of the many monks. He had lessons every afternoon, and he was diligent. They gave him an ink brush, black ink, rice paper, so he could practice his letters, his numbers. One day, after he finished his lessons, he just took a few strokes with that brush on the rice paper, and whoa, there was a cat. It looked rather lively. He showed it to his master, who said, "Whoa, my boy, you may have talent. After your lessons each day, I want you to practice your drawing." And so he did. He loved to draw. Oh, he would do the faces of the older monks. He drew all the buildings and the temple, the stray dogs, and the cats. Oh, he loved to draw cats. He practiced and practiced. He became quite proficient. He did this for several years. When he turned 14 years of age, the priests made a very difficult decision and said, "We believe that you will be a better artist than you will a monk. You must leave us and go out into the world and make your way." The boy was sad. He couldn't return to his family as a failed monk. Why, that would bring shame upon the family. And so he hitched up his robe and he wore out several pair of sandals as he traversed the countryside, and wherever he stopped, he would draw pictures of people, of their farms, of their animals, of their buildings. He always made enough that he had food to eat, clothing to wear, sandals to wear out. And then, after a few years, he was quite lonely, but he trudged on, and he was climbing a rather steep mountain when a rain squall appeared and nearly washed him right off the path. Oh, he found a ledge, stone ledge there in the mountain. He was able to crawl under and avoid most of the water. And suddenly, an old hermit who had come down from the top of the mountain saw the ledge, and he crawled under it too, right next to the boy. He said, I hope you'll allow me to share your shelter." The boy just smiled. "Of course, grandfather. Not only the shelter will I share, but I have a rice ball and some dried fish you will eat with me." The old hermit was pleased. And he asked the boy to tell his story. which he did. And when he finished, the young man said, "I believe that the Creator put me on this earth to do good." "Yes," said the hermit, I believe that is so. In the morning, I suggest you climb to the top of this mountain. There is a large temple there, and they might need your help." In the morning, the rain had stopped, and the old grandfather walked on down the trail to the town. And the boy, he climbed to the top of the mountain, and indeed, there was a large temple, but he could not hear any chanting coming from inside, and there was no one around, and there were no birds singing in the trees. He thought, this is very odd, and it just didn't feel right. Oh, on the side of one of the main buildings, a tree had fallen from the storm the night before, and one of the branches just climbed right up to one of the windows. And so the boy jumped on the tree and climbed the branch right up to the window, and he's able to squeeze inside. He found himself in the main room, and it was a bit dark. Oh, well, it was late afternoon by this time. The sun was beginning to set. There was so much dust on the floor. It obviously hadn't been occupied for some time. Oh, over in the corner, he saw a large 3-paneled screen made of white silk. There was not a mark, a decoration, a design. It was completely empty on both sides. Oh, it was such a temptation. The young man, he had a candle with a flint. He lit the candle. He looked around, and the compulsion was too great. He pulled out his brush and his ink, and he began to draw all over the screen. He drew cats, large cats, small cats, sleeping cats, playing cats, fighting cats, cats everywhere, from side to side, top to bottom, on both sides of the 3-paneled screen. And by the time his candle was ready to flicker on out, he was exhausted. Well, there was no room left on that screen, not for one more cat. He found an alcove in the adjoining room where he could lay down, and he was so tired, and he went to sleep. But it was a horrible night, one of the worst in his entire life, because he kept dreaming it was such a nightmare, and there was screaming and crying, and there was blood, and finally, at long last, he awoke in the morning, and there were birds singing in the trees outside. And he rubbed his eyes and climbed down off the ledge, that platform, and he walked into the main room, and he had to rub his eyes again. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. He thought the nightmare was continuing, but no, it was real. There, on the floor, lay a rat, a huge rat, as large as a cow, and it was dead. And the boy looked over to the screen. There was blood dripping from the jaws and claws of every single cat. Suddenly, the massive oaken door opened at the front of the temple, and in came a small parade of monks who looked at the rat. And then over at the screen, and they all bow low before the boy. And the lead monk explained, "You have saved us from the demon rat. We are so grateful. You must stay with us, live with us, become part of our family." And so he did. He lived with them all the rest of his life. And he drew and painted every day. He became famous throughout Japan as one of the great artists. Decades went on, and he grew old, and the time came when the artist left this earth. He was so honored, they buried his ashes in the courtyard of the temple, along with the very brush he had used to paint all of those cats so long before. Well, there ends my story. I hope you enjoyed it. I so love sharing it. If you'd be so kind, give it a like. And if you will join our group to help perpetuate this channel by subscribing, I would appreciate that as well. Leave a comment, I'll respond. Below, you'll find my website and all of my books with a direct link to Amazon.com are found on my website. Thank you so much for listening. There are so many stories yet to tell. Another story to tell next week.